What's up, YouTube? It's been a very long time, as usual. I've been pretty shitty about keeping the videos coming along, but I haven't really been doing that much with the car. Just kind of been living life and doing my thing. I haven't really had the urge to really film much because most of what I do lately has been maintenance. I'm a little more excited about the E30 this summer and this last fall here. It was kind of the new project, so not a whole lot has changed with the Z. Kind of same old story with this thing. I do actually have a little bit of a reason to film other than giving you guys just a general update. I hit I believe it was a dead deer. It's pretty mangled up in the middle of the road this fall at night. Got the little heater going, that's what's making the noise. So you can see here I got a little chunk of it airdam, another little chunk there. Pretty good one here too. Camera probably doesn't show it super well, but there's like stress splits in the paint. There you can kind of see it. So I actually filed a claim with the insurance company because it's a little bit cheaper to pay deductible than to buy this airdam again and have it all paint matched. So I've been talking with the body shop, sent them some pictures of the car. It's currently December. So I haven't been driving the car, and it snowed for the first time a couple months ago, so I kind of had to put the car away early. I still need to get the E85 out of the tank. I do have plans for an updated fuel system for the car for 2020. Like I said, nothing's really like a huge rush with this thing lately. It runs and drives and everything works, but the problem that I have with the fuel system is the Pour 15 fuel tank seal kit that I used to refresh the tank says it's good for all fuels, and apparently after a couple of years the E85 starts to break it down. So I end up with plugged up fuel filters, which in previous videos where I've had stuttering and hesitation, misfire issues, all along 99% of the time it's been due to lack of fuel because my fuel filters are clogged up. So I've kind of got a system down for now, but I hate having to take out fuel filters every other week and clean them and put them back in. It's just kind of a pain in the ass and not really ideal for this contraption. So that's going to be in the works probably in springtime. I don't really have much for heat out here in the garage, and I'd kind of rather commit this winter to other hobbies like snowboarding and things like that. Car stuff that doesn't really need to be done probably isn't going to be done this winter. But I am going to get this airdam off today and then take it into the body shop and they can quote it out, figure out everything. And usually these things are back ordered. It's the MSA Type 1 airdam. I know some people are curious. I've had people ask me before. When you first buy it and get it, first of all, it usually takes like 2 to 3 months because it's always back ordered. And the same with the retrospect. His stuff always takes like 3 months to get to. So no matter which one you get, it takes forever. Making winter the perfect time to do this because I can't drive the car anyways. And once you get it, at least with the MSA one, there's usually all kinds of little pinholes and imperfections in it that you got to buff and sand and use a little bit of filler to perfect it. But this is actually the second of this airdam that I've had on the car because the first one lasted about not even a month after paint, and I hit a possum. So this thing, I mean, compared to some other cars out there, it's not that terribly low, but obviously it's definitely low enough to hit any sort of low flying objects on the road. So I'm gonna get that off, we'll jack the car up, get that off, and then probably get the fuel out of the tank tonight as well. I didn't even say it, but welcome back to the Boost Shack, everybody. Time to get to work.
We get it almost every night, and now the moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and now the moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and now the moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and now the moon gets big and bright. We get it.
Jacking up lowered cars is the absolute worst. So I have to jack up the front, get a 2x4 under each of the front tires, then go to the rear and jack the rear of the car up, and then get that under two 2x4s under each of the tires. Then back up to the front, I can go up to where I can get jack stands under it, and then do the same for the rear. Because if I do any more than that at a time, one end of the car will be too low, and I can't get the jack under it. Okay, the front's up in the air. I'm not gonna do the back yet. I might just end up siphoning the fuel out. Usually what I do is I'll start the car and just let the pump run, but I'll disconnect the return and just run a little test line into a fuel tank. But the only downside about getting the fuel out of this thing, I think I've got like 6 gallons or so in it, is I've got this left over from last year, which is full. By last year I mean last time I winterized it. It's labeled 91, but I think I wrote on the top that it's actually, I know it's the 85 in here. That is also full. And then this has got some lawnmower gas in it, and this one's empty. But these are my good gas cans, and I don't want to fill those with waste fuel. So if anybody in my area of Wisconsin needs to start some fires, I got some free corn fuel for you. So like I said, this is a MSA Type 1 air dam. I also have the skillered corner delete plate things. I'm not sure exactly what they're called. They're on his website. If you just go to Skillerd website, you'll find them. Shout out to Ben over at Skillerd. He makes some outstanding stuff for us. This grill is also one of his pieces. It's the 280Z turn signal delete style grill. For some reason, at least with this air dam, I did have to cut the bottom row of the grill off. So there was actually one additional rung, but it just sat way too close and I could tell it was going to dig in the corners. So I just cut that out and it fits perfectly that way. I think it would totally depend on the air dam. If you use the xenon style polyurethane one, I believe that kind of sags a little bit lower. Right here, this fiberglass version, it's obviously a little bit more rigid and it sits very straight throughout there. I think it might sit up a little bit higher, so that's probably why I had to trim that. If you have the xenon, you may not have to, I would imagine. I haven't heard anybody complaining, so probably just me, or if you're using this MSA Type 1. Obviously I have the 240Z style turn signals on this. There we go. Underneath, it's gonna be hard to tell, but let's see here. Yeah, you can't really see it very well. You can see right where that light is there, one of the screws, there's either 3 or I think it might be 4 little, more of a stud with a nut on it. And that, there's another one over up there. Yeah, I think it's 4. So those actually hold the air dam in place. A lot of people that don't use these delete plate things just use basically nut and bolt hardware store hardware to hold the air dam in, which is also fine. Probably might even be a little bit stronger than this version. I just hate that unfinished look of not having something to fill in all the awkward little holes, and just looks kind of shitty and sloppy to me to not have something there. It's a cosmetic fill plate, so that's what I did. I'm gonna work on taking this off now, kind of the boring part, so I'm just gonna work at taking this hardware off of this, the back side of this from underneath the car. And once that's out, along with one bolt here as well also holds this all up. Once that's all off, this air dam will just come right out. I'll take the turn signals out as well. Just in case anyone forgot what the old girl looked like. I know people have asked me to talk about everything that's gone into this because when I started doing videos it was kind of at the tail end of the build. There's a lot of stuff I could talk about and I never know where to start. But I mean, what you see is what you get. It's actually a stock bottom end. I rebuilt the engine. Stock head even too. Basically just a bolt-on setup. McKinney motor mounts and trans mount. Not a huge fan of their trans mount, but it does the job of mounting the transmission. I just don't like the way it mounts. CX Racing also makes an engine mount kit that would probably be just fine, but the McKinney puts the engine just a little bit further back, which is what I wanted. Turbo is a Garrett GT30 76R with a 82 AR housing on it. Little Greddy blow-off valve. CX Racing little pipe things for the coolant. That's actually a CX intercooler and intercooler pipe as well that actually fit pretty decent. Champion 240Z radiator with a dual electric fan kit and shroud. Freddy intake manifold, eBay fuel rail, Bosch 850cc EV14 injectors, eBay catch can, just vented to atmosphere, seems to work just fine. Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator, Haltech flex fuel sensor. Got the Willwood brake master cylinder and the 280ZX brake booster. Exhaust is a highly chopped up and modified CX exhaust kit because that fit like shit. CX exhaust, turbo manifold, that actually is a pretty nice little unit, I think. Tile, 44mm wastegate. I'm hoping I don't watch all this playback and realize I either pronounced something wrong or said the wrong spec on it. It's been a while since I bought all this stuff. Oh, the gauges are by Speed Hut. Sparco steering wheel, Sparco R100 seats. Some other stuff going on in there. Shout out to Blocks Racing for the shift knob that you can barely see right now. That's a cool little unit, super heavy weighted. I can't remember if did I do a video on the stereo install? I don't think I did, but we can go over that next time. Okay, it's got a R200 diff out of the 280ZX 5-speed non-turbo, which is the 390 with the OBX limited slip carrier, which is a pretty simple swap. If you Google that, swap for the OBX diff carrier into a long nose R200. Long nose and short nose R200 use the same ring gear. It's the pinion shaft that's different, so the carrier technically with some spacers and different hardware bolts right in. Other than that, BC Racing coilovers, a drive shaft shop, custom aluminum drive shaft, RB25 transmission that has been out of the car to be serviced / rebuilt on more than one occasion. And yeah, I think that just about sums up most of it. Okay, a number of minutes later, and the air dam is off. Along with the turn signals and the delete plates. That's what they look like when they're off the car. Those are the studs I was talking about. How they hold the air dam on. These ones are getting to be in a little bit rough shape, but they still do the job just fine. And I forgot I even had them. But these are also by Skillard, these little braces for the turn signals, because anyone who has put 240Z turn signals on a Type 1 240Z air dam knows that it's a pain and the mounting system kind of sucks. You just basically hang on by a thread for them to fit in there. It's just far from ideal, and these make it a whole lot easier. To make it MSA Type 1 air dam fit on a 280Z, you actually have to notch out a few areas here. Normally this would just be straight across, but you have to take a little bit of material away in order to get my light here. You have to take that material away in order to clear all the bracketry for the horns. I've got some newer style Nissan, I call them a sports horn or something like that. I just thought it looked kind of retro and cool. So yeah, this coming week I'm going to take this into the body shop and let them take a look at it. They asked me if I thought it was repairable. or needed to just be replaced. I mean, it might be repairable, I don't know. I probably could do fiberglass if I would apply myself, but this would also then need paint either way. Never really worked with fiberglass before. Seems pretty straightforward, but as far as all the splitting and breaking of that gel coat, I'm not sure. To me, the amount of work that would go into this for body shop seems to make more sense that you'd just buy a new one. The labor costs when you have multiple hours into repairing this versus just buying one. I think I want to say they're like 250 bucks shipped. They might be a little bit more than that, but they're right around that for price. So anyways, that was a brief little update tour for you guys. Just wanted to film something, give you guys some sort of content. It's been a very long time since I did anything with the car on camera. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and probably gonna take, I bet, 3 months or so for this whole airdam project to be finished, at least. The first time I did it, it was back ordered, and I know they typically are, and usually it's a multiple month back order process just to get them. So stay tuned. I do have some plans for the spring. I'm thinking about maybe doing some sort of front splitter, maybe, kind of toying around with the idea, along with eventually, when I get to it, that fuel system project. Other than that, it's been pretty reliable lately. Haven't had any issues really with the car. Starts when I start it. It gets me where I need to go. So it's been doing pretty good, which, I mean, when it comes to filming stuff like this, if I'm just driving it around, I mean, I'm sure there's people that want to see it, but to me, I kind of just like to actually take the time to enjoy it once in a while rather than try to carry a camera around. Sometimes it takes away from moments a little bit trying to record everything. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. Always more projects coming, and always plans for the E30 in the spring as well. So thanks for watching.